New week, a lot of stuff going on right now in the sports world. It's my Monday morning, 7 a.m. We just had a big weekend of boxing. This will be my first live stream of the day. I'll be going live once again today. I'm uploading a fight that doesn't take place until the following week, but we'll go over the upcoming schedule on our second live stream. I want to talk a little bit about what happened this weekend, how you guys did, and all of that good stuff. If you guys haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do that. Hit subscribe. Also, when you're checking in, hit the thumbs up button. Also, guys, the link to join our Johnny Says Boxing Insider group is pinned in the comment section below. During the live streams, you see all the boys with the blue stars. Those are VIPs. It's a couple bucks a month. You get more access on the YouTube. You get more access to my social medias, Instagram, etc. But more importantly, you get access to that Discord. So definitely join. And I'll go over my little 1 minute or so shtick, and then I'll leave the mic open for you guys. Yeah, so Australia happened. The fights, Liam Paro, kind of had to stress that one out, but we hit our long parlay in Australia. We knew that was Thursday night. It was 1-to-1 money. I think I got it at $2.18. $100 would have got you your money back, plus another 118. And then going to the weekend, I told you guys I wasn't playing a lot. I wasn't doing a lot of action. The picks I was going with, two separate parlays. One was about a plus 340, and the other one was about a plus 220. But both of those hit. And I was telling you guys, there's only a few things in life that are guaranteed. When Kevin Johnson fights, he's going to go the distance. When Gabby Fundora fights, she's going to win by stoppage. And then so on one parlay, we did Oscar Cayazzo, which was kind of like a little bit of touch and go up until it wasn't. We could get into all that in a second. One parlay I gave you guys, all three hit, was Cayazzo by stoppage, Gabby by stoppage on the same ticket. And then the other one was Kevin Johnson versus Abdelayev to go the distance, which hit. And then the Brian Gorham fight. And I told you guys about, I went over Brian Gorman and Yomar Alamo on my live stream with Breaking Bad Boxing. So I gave you guys that one as well. So that was a $3.65, and that hit. So it's been great. Like I said, we continue our archaeological dig, our archaeological finds in terms of finding wins. We don't need huge, massive cards to win money. If you go to the Discord right now, the Discord's popping. The boys are in there. There's NFL on right now, and people are sharing their tickets. We got some UFC coming up later in the week. I'm a lifelong Browns fan. Dude, to just see what's happened in the NFL, it's insane. I don't bet on my football team, but that was insane how that game ended. I just watched the end of the Philly game. That was insane. So, yeah, all in all, you guys are checking in. I'm going to give my love to everybody. You guys are beasts. I love my channel. I love what I do. You guys are a big part of it, so I say thank you. Koki in the house. Appreciate you. Haven't seen you in a while. DJ Green, holla. Robert Floss. Of course it's the Bud era. It's been the Bud era. I told you boys, it's been the Bud era since Ricky Burns, since he got that first strap. Cash Money, Gabby is the truth. Yes, sir. David Iser, congrats to the Browns. How does a flyweight female get knockouts, but yet these dudes go the distance? That's a loaded question, Iser. Yeah, so thank you for the congrats to the Browns. 1 and 2, we got off the schneid. How do these dudes go the distance, but yet these dudes go the distance with guys who are food? Yeah, those two sentences, they're not mutually exclusive. We could get in that a little bit. Liam Paro was getting cracked. Koki, ain't that the truth? Liam Paro had us sweating. DJ Green this weekend was kind of an easy bet. DJ Green. We say easy because we hit, but think about over the last 6 months, the $10s that ruined our parlays, or the $12s that ruined our parlays, that if they would have hit, we would have said the same thing. This was an easy. So don't take anything for granted, guys. It's just because don't take anything for granted. Checking in, Muscles in the house. Muscles is my guy. Looking good in the gym. Looking like Muscles is a massive 170, by the way. You put up that photo on Insta. That's crazy, man. You massive dude for 170. You'd probably have to cut to 55 to make fighting weight. 147 may be too big for Paro. DJ Green, always take Kevin Johnson to go the distance. DJ, yep. Life or death taxes, KJ to go the distance. Sarah Bailey got knocked out wild, y'all. I didn't cover that fight. Muscle Brown, the Caiazzo stoppage was sketchy. Yeah, what are we doing with the Caiazzo stoppage? As I'm going to catch up to these comments. We'll get into that. That's something I want to talk about. Money Meach, you're one of my OG salutations. Fundora stoppage, let's tick that off the box. Caiazzo under 8.5, let's tick that off the box. The corner stopped the fight. Good money last. Yep, we've been eating. Will, what's up, Will? One on Caiazzo, knockout, and the under. Beautiful. What did you make of the stoppage? We're going to get into that in a second. DJ, thank you for the super chat. $4.99 hit a historic ticket yesterday. DJ, your picks are always on point. Look, I'd like to do, I wish we had some sort of automated AI bot for our Discord. I mean, for my picks, you would be able to do this. You would just need to take a little bit of time because I have all the receipts on my YouTube channel, and you'd be able to get my percentage of wins. It's high. I'd like to know our Discord's percentage of wins because the boys in the Discord, because DJ, it's not, Chilltown, Muscles, everybody's hitting. B Money, what's up, baby? King of Fitness, I had a perfect parlay, 4-leg Maryland. My man's going college football route. The Terrapins did beat Wisconsin, man. What are they doing in Wisconsin? Camp Randall, man, they're scratching their head. Pinheiro decision, Fundora knockout, Oscar knockout, took the payout, would have won a smooth 550. You know what, King of Fitness, in that example, man, you never could be mad with an early cash out. I mean, yes, you leave money on the table, which will leave you regretful a bit. But at the same time, we've all been burned when we left that parlay in a bit too long and we got a bit greedy and it didn't go our way. So you got to look at it from both sides. By nature, I'm an optimist, and I think you guys pick up on that pretty quickly. I think it's because, we're all raised differently. And at a very young age, my mind kind of got wired in the sense that there's a lot of shit around me. So I'm going to figure out and find the things that aren't shit, and I'm going to focus on that. So that's kind of how I'm wired. DJ, like White and Dickinson. Yep. What's good? King Ty in the house. Appreciate you. Carolina beat the Falcons 30-0. Yeah, Michael Penix Jr., man, not having a good run as of late. King Ty, the weekend was easy. Dude, we've been hitting. I mean, if that's the case, like last weekend, we hit a plus 600 in Japan, but I'm not gonna say that was easy. I don't like saying things. I've just been, the longer you're in the game, when you lose like $1.10 or lose $1.12, and you could have said it was easy, and they lost. So I don't take anything for granted. Adu, morning boys, morning Johnny, came back strong this weekend. Bermudez first round knockout, stole some coin, nice. Jason Bison had me sweating. Guys, yeah, we'll get into Jason Bison in a second. Fundora's opponent took a beating. Ref saved her because no one. No. You know what? And Adu, we'll start there. I've caught up with the comments. Guys, make sure you like this video. If you guys want money, if you want to support me, buy me a coffee. Super chats are always appreciated. Jason Bison was super tough. I'll get into that right now. He fought Oscar Caiazzo. I'm watching some of the breakdowns. The fight got stopped, I think, in the 7th, right? And there were some close rounds. It was a bizarre stoppage, especially when you find out that the corner stopped it. Look, a corner knows their fighter better than anybody. You did kind of see, if you rewatch what was happening in the sort of exchanges in that last round when it got stopped, his body language was changing a bit. His energy was changing a bit. I don't know if they knew something. I don't like jumping to conclusions. Maybe Bison in sparring got stopped. Maybe he had a bad... It seems to me when things like that happen, I'm not going to jump to a conclusion and say the corner was out to get their fighter. Bison was way better than a lot of people thought he was. So we'll see what happens. I'd like to see what his corner says about it. Surely people are going to be asking. Muscle Brown, yeah, bro, 170 when I was competing in bodybuilding. I cut down to 55. Yeah, that's what I figured. DJ, Gabby. Gabby is a little animal, DJ, and the harsh truth about Gabby Fundora from our perspective, boys, because if Goat's on this live stream, Goat could attest to this, is that we've been speaking high praise of Fundora for a while. Way before the Maria Badillo fight, 2 fights before that. And she in my breakdown 2 fights ago, 3 fights ago, I was talking about what she's starting to do is sit down on her punches. And I could find the soundbite, but I don't like bragging on myself, but I said we could probably expect more stoppages from Gabby because she's sitting down on her punches and she's getting confident in what she's doing. She's getting confident in her approach and her work. And my favorite thing to watch her as a fighter, and I've been saying this for a while, and now I'm probably going to have to stop saying this because everybody's saying this. You know, now all the boxing pundits are saying this about Fundora. We were just a little bit early to the show. We saw it coming. The bookies now have caught on to us. You know, you can't get Gabby at $1.85 anymore by stoppage. You're getting her at $1.35. So now we got to get fancy. We got to, you know, take Gabby by the stoppage and then pick the round over and under, that sort of thing. But how she fights, her techniques, her setups, her aggression, her ferocity, her willingness to punch with you, her willingness to trade, you add all of that to her natural sort of God-given abilities in terms of her, in like the height, the reach. All of that is her youth, her age, her fight IQ, her devotion to the game, how she listens to her corner. Everything I see, she lives like a samurai. And, you know, they have that compound, their own property, the Fundoras, the fighting Fundoras. It's beautiful to see. It's gorgeous to see. I love seeing that. I love seeing anybody who's at a high level perfecting their craft in anything, whether it's a boxer or I went down this rabbit hole back in the day of people who make watches. So like the small, intricate watchmakers, you could watch it. So like that, if you're a master in anything, it impresses me, let alone becoming a master and obsessed with my favorite sport. You don't have to watch too much of Gabby Fundora. You can pick up on that. The focus, how she stays switched on in a fight. And then also one of my favorite things is that contrast. How outside of the ring, when you see, you know, if you ran into her at a shopping mall, you would not think she was a fighter. You know what I'm saying? And that's my favorite thing, the contrast. So, yeah, there's a lot of good things to say about Fundora. She's still so young as well. I'm going to catch up to these comments. That Bijan Robinson dude is a great rusher for the Falcons. King Ty, Fundora might be the next great. I think she is, King. I think she is. I think we see it, right? Because King Ty, we watch a lot of boxing, right? I mean, because there isn't such a larger sample size for the women, we don't have to go back to the early 1900s like we have to do for the men for us to make a fair assumption of who's legit and who's not. For the women, it's a small sample size. Only a couple generations. You just, you know, pretty only have to go back a couple decades. That's your sample size. You have the modern era. You have her. And it's pretty easy to see what she's doing and be like, this is, you know, I don't see any signs of her slowing down as well. That backhand, dude, when she gets you figured out and she gets your distance down, and then, you know, and hats off to her opponent. Her opponent was brave enough to punch with her. He deserves to be on a better team. DJ Green, Kayato was one of a little riffy, but that saved me. Yes. But look, guys, sometimes we don't get saved. Think about all the times we've been on this live stream where a draw screwed us, a bad decision screwed us, a head scratcher. You just leave your... So when we get outcomes like Kayato, when we're all eating, come on, dude. We got to celebrate. We got to celebrate. Take advantage, man. Take advantage. But he was getting beast right before him. DJ Green, yeah, I remember we was talking about Gabby, but she might be on a knockout streak. She's on it. Rando, how about Bermudez with a first-round knockout over Sarah Bailey? That's what everybody's talking about. I didn't catch that fight, guys. I didn't catch that fight, but I had somebody in my... If you're on this live stream right now, guys, and you're in the Discord and you've sent me a private message on the Discord and I haven't got back to you, I apologize. There's a lot of private messages in the Discord. I get a lot of DMs on Instagram. I get a lot of emails. So I'm only one guy. At this stage of the game, this is a single-man operation. So be patient with me. Brandon, what's up, Johnny in chat? Did good with the parlays with Fundora Kayatso. Brandon Moore screwed my other parlays, not getting the knockout. Yeah, so he made me think about temporarily changing my name. Okay, I want to make something clear, too. This is, if Muscles is still on the live stream, I reached out to Muscles. I brought this up. I get a lot of people messaging me about insider info, about hot takes or sharp bets, and, you know, and this is why, like, I had so many people messaging me about Brandon Moore, about how he was going to stop Savage. And I played it too. I played that prop as well, and I gave it away. And so, because I have so much going on, this isn't the... I think what I'm going to do better is, unless I tape even if somebody's like, hey, I'm in this dude's fight camp, I was sparring with him, his jaw's suspect, bet against him, and it's an obscure fight. Because my rule usually is always, I'm not going to bet on anything I don't tape. That's always been my rule. But the Brandon Moore fight, there wasn't a lot of tape. You look at DeAndre Savage's record. Brandon Moore isn't a household world beater. And I always tell you guys, stay away from fringe level domestic heavyweights. And so I'm not too upset about it. It didn't burn me that bad. I didn't go too heavy on it. But we just got to learn to stick to our guns. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, these domestic fringe level heavyweights, don't bet on them, man. And I have to take my own advice. I second-guessed myself at the end of round 6 of the Fundora fight after the ref gave Kubicki a warning. Havelock in the house. Terrell Farron, what's good, Johnny? Great weekend. Terrell, appreciate you in the chat. Appreciate the support. Guys, everybody who did well this weekend, throw a thumbs up. Let me know how you did. We're all trying to do this together. We're all in this together. 20 people in the live, 22. Hit a thumbs up for me. DJ Green, Brandon Moore was terrible. Yeah, it was just like, I don't like watching boxing for the sake of gambling on it. Does that make sense to you boys? Like, I'm such a fan of the sport. I love boxing. You guys know that. So I don't like when I find myself watching a boxing match just because I gambled on it. It doesn't sit right with me. Because, somebody was in the Discord yesterday asking me, Johnny, where are your NFL picks? And he was like, I don't see them. And I'm like, bro, I don't bet on the NFL. This NFL channel and the Discord is only here because you guys asked for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll bet on college football a little bit, but don't expect me to do breakdowns. This is a boxing channel. So, it's watching the Brandon Moore, DeAndre Savage boxing match, man. And I was kind of just watching it because, like I said, we wagered on it. Because there was a lot of, like, insider info saying that DeAndre Savage was going to get stopped. And you're just watching that quality. And look, hey, it wasn't all bad. DeAndre Savage, he was tough. The dude looked like he was out on his feet for the last 3 rounds. And look, man, Brandon Moore came in shape. I've seen him before look way worse, to believe it or not. He actually looks like a guy who's taking his health seriously. So it's not all bad, and this is kind of my point. I always told myself, just because I lose a bet doesn't mean I should trash the fighter because I lost the bet. Brandon Moore, look, he was in shape, lost a lot of weight. DeAndre Savage, will either guy be a world champion? Probably not, dude. But at the end of the day, this is a tough, brutal sport. And, he won every single round. Brandon, when Savage went down at the end of the 7th, I was like, here we go. Yeah, same. Assad, hello, Johnny. Any upcoming bets? Yeah, Assad we got 3 cards coming up this weekend. On my YouTube channel, go to the posts. I showed you the cards. They're all on DAZN. There's one in the UK. There's a couple obscure cards, but none of the books are showing any options yet. So until we start seeing the options for the books, that's when I'll start talking about the fights, just because, it's really kind of pointless for a lot of the boys on the channel if I'm breaking down fights and we can't get any action. So just give me a day or so. We do have the Dana White Contender Series coming up for the MMA boys. I started off good the last 2 weeks. I haven't really been able to put too much effort in the tape on that. I relied on my source in DC, and he totally shit the bed. He got it wrong. He said Gantz was going to lose. Gantz looked like he's ready to fight in the UFC right now. This man Moore told his opponent to keep his hands up. Adu, Brandon just took his foot off the gas completely. He had Savage cooked. Was a painful loss bet, that one. Yeah, we thought we had it. FX coaching. I lost on Moore and Sarah Bailey fight to go the distance. DJ, it makes absolute sense. King Ty, the Boots card will be another day to make a lot of money. Guys, Stanionis is fighting this weekend. I think it's in Lithuania, his hometown. But Manus Stanionis, man, he's a fun style. So he's fighting this weekend. We'll see if we get an option to even bet on that card. I think it might be an 8-rounder. He's getting some home cooking, which he deserves. But he's still a name. You guys, you would be ill-advised to throw Stanionis away at 147, especially since Boost left. And, we're starting to see, Raleigh being elevated to a full champ status there. We just saw Barrios against Pacquiao. Really didn't, impress anybody too much. So the idea that 47, in my opinion, even though there's champions, it's still wide open for anybody to make a statement. And I think Stanionis is one of those guys. He's still young. Boots did We'll see how he looks. Sometimes when you get beat like that, you know, the spirit kind of leaves you. That's why I want to see him fight. Moore had no sense of urgency or killer instinct. Yeah, he was hitting him with everything he had, though. DeAndre Savage's best game plan was to get hit in the head. You never want to be that guy. Asad, Johnny, Turkey's my uncle, and Hamza's my cousin. You guys, have you guys heard the rumor that Elam Hanalei is going to fight Carlos Adames at 160? What do you guys make of that? I know some of the boys were sharing it in the Discord, and I learned from my mistakes. I've been running a Facebook group for a few years now under the same name, Johnny Says Boxing. I had it at 120,000 people, and then sometime a year and a half ago, Facebook just removed my group for no reason, so I had to restart it last year. It has about 35,000 people, but my experience sharing breaking news in that group, I realized unless a fight goes official, I'm not sharing it. I know Elam Hanalei said that fight's going official, but nothing's signed yet, and I haven't seen Adames post anything yet. I would love to see Elam Hanalei versus Adames. Who do you guys like in that fight? Also, I would love to see Bud Crawford go to 60 to fight Lara to try to be a 6th Division world champ. Terrell Farron, fight of the night for me, surprisingly, was Gio Marquez versus... How'd you guys score that? I watched the Gio Marquez versus Wesley Ferrer fight. Marquez was a huge favorite. Wesley Ferrer came in as the dog and won. Please do a breakdown of the Greyhounds. I do. Could you imagine? Mar, Tiger Johnson versus Nick Flas. I'm kind of, but you know, Mar, thanks for the heads up. I'm kind of bummed out for, man, he follows me on Instagram. He was supposed to fight Nick Flas. Pete Dobson was supposed to fight Nick Flas this weekend. And I think Dobson pulled out, or maybe Flas pulled out. Either way, Flas is fighting Tiger. That's a good mix-up right there. Rambler, Brandon Moore should fight Stephon Shaw. Steven, I don't know. Rambler, what's up, buddy? B Money, Pro Box card. Is there a Pro Box card? I thought they scratched it. Is the Pro Box card still on? Jason Duval, what's up? Shakur by decision is a lock, right? Nothing's in stone yet. Are you talking about Shakur versus Teo? I haven't seen anything official. Lucia, hola papi, ¿cómo estás, mija? Tam, Thibault this week. I like Janabek Elam Hanalei over Adames. Yeah, we're going to see. I think for both guys, look, I'm a fan of both guys. I thought Adames beat Shiraz handily. Janabek, you know, he was supposed to fight Shiraz. Shiraz didn't want any of that smoke, so Janabek had to go to Australia to fight old mate Mikhailovich, who's like a clubber. And Janabek literally was toying with him. Somebody should go to prison for that fight, by the way. For even putting Andre Mikhailovich in there against Janabek, you should go to prison. Anyway, Mikhailovich could have got really, really damaged in Anyway, I think there's still questions with Janabek and Adames in terms of where you put them at the, in your rankings of the best in the world. They're both champions. I mean, some people think Elam Hanalei is a pound-for-pound guy, and some people think Adames isn't going to be beaten at 60. My point is, this fight is going to show us exactly who they are. I'm not very high on Janabek, to be honest. He looked terrible against that Bentley guy. Vallejo, what's up, Vic? Lara is arguably the weakest champ, but I think he could be underrated. Lara's 42 years old, you know what I'm saying? Lara is a guy who's been in the game forever. Hats off to the OGs. Think about the OGs we got in the game. Usyk, OG, 38. Bud's about to be 38. Everything he's done. Lara, 42. We got Nonito Donaire. Donaire just coming off that huge win against Andres Campos in Buenos Aires, Argentina, putting himself in a position. You know what I'm saying? So, the old heads are kind of rewriting the old narrative of it's a young man's sport, which we know it is a young man's sport. But the old heads are like, what's up? Holla at me. I'm still here, baby. Johnny, my man, let's go. Lucia. Mar, it's still on. Najee Lopez versus Calvin Henderson was moved to the main. Perfect, Mar the Prince, my Ohio guy, keeping me up to date. The only question is, are you guys getting anywhere in the world where you're tapping in, or any of your books giving you props for any fights? Whether it's Bet365 whether it's wherever you guys are in the world. Because I know down here, Sportsbet isn't giving us anything. Vic, man, Janibek is the real deal. I agree, man, Vic. I'm high on Alam Hunalay too, man. I think I want to see him tested. He's one of those guys that I feel a lot of these Eastern, I want to see him in Vegas. I want to see how Alam Hunalay would deal with a huge show. I think he's that good. We'll see but I'm high on Adames. Adames, he definitely, if they were to fight, he definitely has to step on the gas earlier. Janibek is a guy because he'll fight downhill. If Adames comes out slow and kind of like waits too long, he could find himself really behind and then have to put himself in positions of danger. It's a fun matchup. I hope that goes official, to be honest with you. Unification fights at 160. Let's go. Jason Duval. Every time I read the name Duval, I think of Jacksonville, Florida. I think about my guy Lil Duval. So I think you're from Jacksonville, right? Or is that just your last name? The Duval. I love places in the world that are super loyal. Wherever people. So people from Duval, they'll let you know about it. When I moved to Long Beach, California, when I was in my early 20s, that's one of those places. If you ever meet anyone from California and they're from Long Beach, they're going to let you know. People from Long Beach, super loyal. It's a great place to live, similar to that. Najee Lopez is fighting. It's still on. Appreciate you, B Money. Brandon, hey now, I'm 38. We're still kind of young. Dude, I'm 43. The oldie but goodie. Hey, man, age, what did Aaliyah said? Age ain't nothing but a number. You know what I mean? Like, I've never been the type to kind of allow age to define my mood. Are you kidding me? Like the body, I don't know how is it too early to get too esoteric or too spiritual? But like the body is just the body. It's here. So you got to keep this young. This is breaking down. Look, everything that is alive is going to, experience entropy. That's the full circle of life. Decaying. But you can keep the mind sharp. Let's go. No odds yet. My main man, Johnny. King Ty, how y'all feel about Shakur versus Teo? I love that fight. King Ty, if that goes official, there's certain fights I always talk to you guys about, and you guys could probably tell in the breakdowns. Some of you guys were commenting on my Canelo versus Bud breakdown, and you said, and you guys called it. You were like, some of the comments were like, in my Stats Don't Lie video of Bud versus Canelo, some of them were like, this is one of your best breakdowns in a while. I understand why. My point is, Shakur and Teo, it's hard for me to like, there's certain breakdowns that, you get up for, and there's certain Stats Don't Lie videos that I analyze that are kind of like, I do them for, for the love of the game. Shakur versus Teofimo Lopez, if that goes official, mate, I cannot wait to break that down. I cannot wait to do a Stats Don't Lie prediction video, and that is a really fun fight. Same with this Alam Hunalay versus Adames fight. If this goes official, I cannot wait to break that tape down. I cannot wait to do a Stats Don't Lie video on that. So we'll see what happens. But I'm looking, the White Rhino is coming back. He's fighting, there's some good fights coming. This weekend might be a little slow, but we always find our way, don't we? We're like, we're in that cave or we're in the tunnel and there's no lights and we're like, there's no path, but we have that helmet light on. We're wearing that hat with the light and we're walking through the tunnel trying to find our way. That's like this week of boxing coming up. We're going to find our way like we always do. Bakra Murtazaev, that's another fight. I hope Murtazaev versus Josh Kelly comes official. Right now, it's just speculation. We haven't seen Murtazaev in a long time. That's going to be a really fun fight for me to break down. Tim Tszyu announced this past weekend that he moved to America. He left his longtime camp. He left his grandfather. He left Glenn Jennings. He left the entire camp. These are like his bloodline. These are the same camp who brought Costa Tszyu up. And, at 30 years old, Tim Tszyu realized that, hey, he still has some fire left. He still has some energy left in that tank. He needs a change for the good. I don't know if he's announced yet. I haven't checked what camp he's going to align himself with. I would like to see him with Robert Garcia, somewhere along the lines there. I know there might be a little bit of, that might not work too well considering Virgil is with Robert Garcia. But in terms of like how Robert Garcia operates, or... Bomac. Nobody. I don't know if Tszyu. I don't know if I've heard Bomac talk about Zoo in a positive light before. I mean, I would love to see Tim Zoo with Bomac and have one of those game plans. And there's a lot of good guys to spar there in that camp. It sounds kind of out of left field. I wouldn't be surprised if Tim Zoo aligned himself with Bomac. So we'll see. Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. is training with Bomac for the Conor Benn fight, the second one. So we'll see what happens. Do your hips start clicking when you was about 35? My hips don't click, man. I'm a beast. I'm stronger now at 43. If you look at all my strength, my strength records and my deadlift, my back squat, my bench press, all my numbers now are the strongest they've been. And my running times are way better now at 43. But you got to have other things in place. You can't be drinking alcohol. You can't be eating shit. You can't be having sleepless nights. You can't be doing cocaine anymore. You can't be sleeping around with all these hoes. You got to live like a samurai, especially when you're my age. Welcome. No odds yet. King Ty. Shakur is unbeatable. Do you see anyone at 35, 47 can't beat him? Well, FX, 35 through 47, I'd have to sit on that. There's some, 47 might be a bit too much for Shakur. We got to remember, he started at 26. To go up to 47, he doesn't seem like he has that sort of frame. I want to, 40, I'd have to see him at 40 first, 47. I don't know. We'll see. And we have to remember, FX, a guy who relies on reflexes, speed, and timing, those are the first three things that fade as we get older. He's shown no signs of fading. So he's one of my favorite fighters. No odds yet. Hope the books offer Stanionis, Gonzalez, and the MVP card. You see Mar the Prince is already lining up his parlay on the down low. Can't decide Allen or Makhmudov. Man, it's Assad. It's hard for me to bet against Allen right now. It's hard for me to win. The last two Dave Allen fights I've lost. I went for him and then I went against him in the his last two in the first fight in the rematch. Shakur UD is a lock. I like it. King Ty, I agree. Got feeling Allen. I know, man. It's kind of like, is Dave Allen kind of becoming a fan favorite? You know what I'm saying? Assad, unless Makhmudov surprise knocks him out for sure. Lucia Kimenos, I love when you say my name. Makhmudov, fast starter. DJ Green, I'm thinking about taking Dave Allen on the money line. Same. What's up, PJ? PJ in the house. Hopefully you took those the 2 tickets, PJ. My last name is from Jacksonville. My dad's side is from Jacksonville. My mom is from Florida. There you go. I knew it. Vic, PJ, who you got? Worley versus Parker. This is a tough one. It is a tough one. It is a tough one. Guys, how are you, Joseph Parker is beloved where I think Joseph Parker, fair to say, he's beloved everywhere. He's one of those heavyweights that is endearing. Great personality. You follow him on his Instagram. From down here where I'm living, made the choice to go train, with Andy Lee. Has seen some great results as of late. Still not that old. Seems way older than he is. And when you got a guy like Fabio, he always has that. He always has that. Is Fabio Wardley Deontay Wilder 2.0? Is that too early to say? Or is that fair? Because if that's and we've seen Parker, have his durability tested before. And so it's a tough one. You know what I mean? It's a tough one. How do you guys see it going? Parker Wardley. I don't like the fight for Parker. I think they do him dirty. I think they did him dirty. I think Joseph Parker, I think this is a dangerous fight. Because what happens? Let's say he gets caught against Wardley. He just has to rebuild again at this stage of the game. When he's been on this run, when he's done all that he's done in the sport, he should be fighting for world titles. I don't know, man. I don't know. Mar the Prince. Zoo and Abel Sanchez would be in. Yep. Guys, good call. Abel. He has options, though. B&B. I like Joel Diaz, Breadman, Manny Robles, Virgil Hunter. Yeah, Mar. These are all good options. You figure it's going to be one of these guys, right? Jason, my guy, Fabio got this. I know, man. Fabio, it's hard for me to, only because stylistically, you got to think of Fabio Wardley. He gets this fight. He really kind of has nothing to lose. You know, I mean that. Fabio Wardley is a guy who fights like, he only took up boxing in his early 20s. Fabio Wardley is a white-collar boxing guy. I never heard of this when I lived in America. I only heard of this when I came to Australia, and then I found out that the business came from England. White-collar boxing is a thing to where, where I used to have a gym in the CBD, the Central Business District of Sydney, where all the big buildings are, the Opera House. There's like multinational banks, Suncorp, Westpac. You have, the ANZ building, the stock market. So in these big buildings, you have a bunch of young guys who are wearing suits, day traders, bankers, and then there's a thing called white collar boxing where the local gyms will have an agreement with the white collar boxing, and then the boys sign up to have a fight, and they have it at an arena, and you pay for it, but you have a fight camp, you get to walk out, you have to sell tickets. It's a whole experience, but it's amateur, super amateur. This is how Fabio Wardley started. This is where Fabio Wardley came from. He was doing those. He was a recruiter in London, wearing a suit, a tie. A recruiter is kind of like an in-between guy who gets you jobs in the corporate space. You're looking for either a sort of entry-level position, you're looking for an upgrade, you're looking for a new career. Recruiters, right? So Usyk with the super chat. Fabio will lose 35, 59 minutes and land a Hail Mary. Usyk, man, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Everything helps on the channel, man. You guys make the world go round. Usyk says Fabio will lose 35 to 59 minutes, then land a Hail Mary. And Usyk, he's capable of that. So my point is, this is where Wardley comes from, the white-collar space. He flatlined a couple of these sort of guys, and then word got out, and I'm pretty sure, maybe the Brits could help me with this, I think he started as a sparring partner for AJ, maybe? I think so. And this is how he got to start. Not your atypical traditional start in the boxing space. You know what I'm saying? So in his head, everything is like house money. And you watch him, you watch his personality. He's a guy who fights that way too. He never gets down on himself in the fight. We've seen him cut up. We've seen him bloodied. And when you got that power in your backhand like that, you always think you're going to win. In the heavyweight division, guys, all it takes is one. We've seen it. This is kind of like, Deontay 2.0 in a way. Especially how he just loses rounds and gives them away. The Luis Ortiz knockout, and there's a lot of other ones. The fiascos that were happening with the Tyson Fury fights. Joseph Parker, on the other hand, is a guy that we've seen down before. He's picked himself back up, rebuilt his career. I don't like this matchup for Parker. Favoring Parker. I think Parker should be fighting for a world title. PJ Wardley can win if he can outbox him. He's not outboxing Parker. Dude, we saw what Wardley looked like against Justice. Justice Hooney was winning pretty much every exchange until he wasn't. Assad, he was a Dillian White, my bad. There you go. I knew the boys were coming for me. That's why I knew the chat would have my back. It was Dillian White. So he was a sparring partner for Dillian White along with a friend of mine. There was a bunch of guys Dillian White took under. Beautiful. Beautiful. And that's what I mean. And so you'd have to think, or it's pretty known, we know the importance of, a strong mind, a confident mind in boxing. A guy, when you have a skill, when you have sort of that in your arsenal, in your back pocket, that Wardley has, and then you mix that, he's definitely, are you getting odds on that? Because, it's hard for me to get past. One of the saltiest losses I've taken was Hooney. One of the salty, it's still hard to get past how that went down. And, it's all hats off to Wardley pulling that off, and kind of a head scratcher for the decision making on Justice's part when he was up by a wide margin. Surely his corner, we were live streaming that fight. Surely your corner, if you're Justice Hooney, tells you, man, just circle away from his backhand, use the whole ring. You got 6 minutes. Everything you worked for your entire career has led you to this. Don't punch with him. You're up big. The only way he can beat you is by landing that backhand. So don't punch with him. Feint, keep feint, stay on your toes. You're looking great. Use your jab. Use the entire ring. And in the exchanges, circle away from the right hand. So circle to your right. No, that's not what he did. He did the exact opposite. He stayed flat-footed and wanted to punch with him. That, in my opinion, from a coaching perspective, is one of those moments in boxing where it's just a head-scratcher to me. It's like, how do you... That is a fight IQ error. That is a tough one, man. Who knows? Maybe Hooney doesn't even care about it. Maybe no one's even talking about it. That's a tough one for me as a fan of the sport to get past. You don't see that a lot. With so much on the line. He had come from Australia to his backyard and was schooling him. Because nothing Hooney was doing was fluky, by the way. That is how good he is. That product. So when you have a product like that, Hooney, who's that big, that skilled, that fast, that seasoned, all the physical things, none of that was a fluke. But when you see the mental lapse in the decision-making, that's a discipline issue. I blame a little bit on the corner as well. That's a bummer. That's gonna haunt him his entire career. That's all I'm gonna say. I want to see Justice versus Moses too. By the way, people were talking about, what's next for Moses Ituama. Well, I want to see how Moses would fight against Justice Hooney. I think maybe I'm just too high on Hooney. Maybe I'm seeing something no one else is seeing. I think the knockout is a bad knockout, but I think what we saw for the first 10 rounds is exactly who Justice is. I don't think there's many heavyweights I don't think there's many heavyweights who could beat Hooney. I want to see if Moses is a real deal, how he would handle Hooney. Man, oh God, it's still salty. Hooney messed up big time. No one calling him now. I know. Mar the Prince, is it crazy to take a stab at Padley? Yes, that's my move, Mar. So Josh Padley versus Bellotti. I've never been high on Reese Bellotti. I hope you guys listen to me. Ryan Gardner. We got Gardner by... Padley, dude, I don't know how Bellotti got that fight. Hats off to Reese's promoter and manager. Bellotti's coming off that loss to Gardner, and a lot of you boys picked him to win. So we went the opposite with our tape, and we picked Ryan, and we got Ryan. He stopped him. How do you rate Padley versus Ryan? I think Padley's trending upwards. Padley's a lot better than you. The best thing for, watching Padley go like this, when all the people talk shit about Shakur, when it took Shakur 9 rounds to stop Josh Padley. It's like, bro, what are you talking about? Shakur watched zero tape on this guy. Sometimes the toughest fights to take are the ones where you don't know anything about your opponent, especially when you're a technician and a student of the game like Shakur. It's widely known Shakur is a tape guy, watches tape, breaks tape down. He could talk to you about boxing history. He's a student of the game. Shakur's the type of dude will watch a fight live, and if he's beefing with somebody who might be fighting and they fight well, Shakur will give that fighter props. That's a real one. Shakur's a real one. So watching Shakur's win over Padley, that's a good win. And we're watching it in real time. And I think Padley's going to put another statement on that. I think he's going to stop Bellotti. Padley's, yeah. Moses, yeah, man. Boxing fan question. Johnny, wouldn't Robin betting on boxing save our ass sometimes? Wouldn't Robin betting? What is that? Boxing fan, go on. Are you saying wouldn't round robin betting on boxing save our ass? I'm not quite sure what that is. Explain to me. PJ, Hooney got knocked out. I still remember the shot. Johnny was talking trash the whole fight until boom. I wouldn't say I was talking trash. I was just doing what I do. I wasn't talking trash is a bit harsh. I was breaking the fight down. Bellotti going to be stronger at 35. My ass wasn't saved from the bet losses. Bellotti is linked up. Victor, Padley is going to win this fight next. So you think Paddy's going to win? Shakur is that dude. I agree. Shakur. Shakur is unbelievably talented. Already a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. He's won world titles at 26, 30, and 35. We'll just see. I want to see him at 40 to really cement his case. All right, guys, we are 45 minutes in. I'm gonna check the book real quick to see if we're getting anything. And I know a lot of you boys are watching. A lot of the chat's watching American football. So everybody who's here, I appreciate you. I didn't expect. Usually my Monday morning, which is your Sunday afternoon in America, this is one of the slower streams. So everybody on the stream, I say thank you. I'm just gonna check the book real quick. Okay, I'm not getting anything, guys, on this week, but stay tuned. I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna go live a little bit later today. I also want to give a shout out to Mankey Crazy. So Mankey Crazy, he's a Johnny Says Boxing Insider VIP level 2, and he has a request for me to break down an upcoming fight. It happens in 2 weeks. So let's see where that fight is. See if I could get odds. So today I'm going to be uploading for Mankey Crazy Willie Hutchinson versus Mark Jeffers. I just want to give that a heads up. So if you see me uploading this fight and there's a Stats Don't Lie video, this fight doesn't happen for 2 weeks. This is a special Johnny Says VIP level 2 video in which he pays extra and he's getting this personalized breakdown. Willie Hutchinson versus Mark Jeffers. The money line right now, Hutchinson is a $1.31 favorite. 100 on him gets you your money back plus 31 bucks. The draw is 16-1, and Jeffers is a $3.80 underdog, meaning 100 on him gets you your money back plus 280, not quite 3-1. That's going to be uploaded today, so stay tuned to the channel. A little bit of the calm before the storm, after the storm. So, live